One of the most important things I teach in my online PT community is how to get up off the floor. Not only is it a very important activity we all should be able to do, it's potentially life-saving. Welcome back, everyone. Michael O'Connor here, Doctor of Physical Therapy. There is a specific sequence of exercises that you need to be able to do to be able to get yourself up off the floor. One of the most important exercises is what we call the staggered lunge. This is when we get our bodies into the kneeling position. This lunge position is what helps propel our body upward, and the front leg strength in the quadriceps is what is going to get us upright. However, the single leg lunge exercise is not a starting point for most of us. In this video today, I want to share with you 5 different ways that you can incrementally exercise and progress so that you can attain the single leg squat and make sure you can get yourself up off the floor and stay safe. Let's take a look at each part. Now, as I mentioned, the single leg exercises involves one leg. It's that front leg. But in order to be able to do a single leg exercise, we want to make sure we can do it with both legs first. And as many of you know, one of my favorite exercises is the chair squat. That's where you use a chair, feet about shoulder width apart, and we go into our abdominal tension, shoulder back, head in neutral, and we use that perfect alignment for the hip hinge, lowering ourselves down, not sitting, but hovering right over the chair, pressing through the heels and driving back up. I use this exercise in so many of my videos because it is one of the most important. I often teach patients to, like they're picking up a milk crate in between their knees. So that's one thing you can do. Notice I'm hip hinging. My back is not rounding. I'm not losing posture. I'm also not staying too upright as I bend my knees. As you can see, my knees drift way over my toes, and that actually causes my low back to arch significantly. If you've ever had acute back pain, that can make your back pain so much worse. So we use this hip hinge right here with a flat back. Notice my knees are behind my toes, and I use, again, heel pressure to come and push back up. So we want to make sure that we can master this exercise. For my goal is always 2 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions. Once you can do that, then we can progress to single leg exercise. Let's look at exercise number 2. Now, whenever we're practicing single leg exercises, you definitely want to have something for balance, a chair, a desk, a countertop, something to stay safe. This exercise is performed in the staggered position here. Notice my back heel is off the ground and my front foot is out in front of me. Now, to go straight down into the single leg lunge is, again, probably a little too much. So we're just going to weight shift forward. So it looks like this. My front knee, my right knee here, is going to bend, and I'm going to sink down just a little bit, making sure my knee isn't going over my toe, pushing through the heel and coming back up. So it's kind of like the initiating phase of the single leg lunge. You can shift forward, hold for 2 or 3 seconds, heel pressure, coming back up. The nice thing about the chair is I can use a light finger for balance because you don't want to be wobbling while you do this. Or I can put my hand on there, and if I need a little bit of pressure with my arm, that's okay, because you want to make sure you're attaining high repetitions. 2 sets, maybe 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions. Pause here, push through the heel, and come back up. Now, sometimes even that forward shift can cause some kneecap pain. Most of you know I had my ACL reconstructed on my left side. There's a little bit more clicking, so I have to do a lot of stretching and warming up to make sure it's smooth tracking. But one thing you can do to alleviate some of the discomfort in the knee is elevate the foot. Let's take a look at this exercise with a modification. An easy place to elevate your front foot is on the first step of your stairwell, especially if you have a handrail for balance. So in this position, notice my back heel is up in the air, and I'm going to just shift forward, push through the heel, and come back up. A shift forward, like I'm about to go up the step, but just loading the front leg and come back up. Now, if you don't have a convenient stairwell, you could use a book or a yoga block. One thing I recommend is to place the book and make sure it's not going to slide on you, but place it against a wall. Therefore, you know it can't slide forward, and you could put your yoga block on top, whatever is going to be about equivalent of a stair height. So once again, coming in, front foot on here. Want to make sure my heel pressure is what's maintaining the contraction for my front leg muscle. My back heel is in the air, got the wall for a little balance, and it's a shift forward and pushing through. So I'm just heading toward the wall, and you can dose this where if you go down a little bit, it's a little harder, or you could just shift forward, pause, 2, 3, and push back. Now you should feel this front leg, the quadricep area, doing the work. And again, working up to 12 to 15 repetitions. So the fourth exercise really starts replicating that maneuver to get up off the floor. So this is in the staggered lunge position. Again, back heel up in the air, right foot out in front, heel pressure. Now, instead of shifting forward, I'm going to pretty much start to go straight down. So I have my chair for balance, and I'm going to start coming down into this position, pause, push through the heel, drive back up. Notice there's not a lot of shift of my upper body. I'm slightly hinged forward and then pushing back up. Down, hold, 2, 3, and back up. Here's a front view for you. When you're heading down, make sure that hip, knee, and ankle are staying in alignment. You don't want to have your knee start to buckle inward or bow outward. So really keep that alignment in mind. Again, trying to get to 2 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions on both legs. As you're doing this exercise, if you feel like there's too much weight on the back leg, you're probably shifted back too far. So just try to bring your body a little bit forward to load that heel pressure and come back up. Now, once I know that I've mastered the previous exercises, because I can do 2 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions, now I'm ready for the final staggered single leg full lunge. I'm going to use just either a pillow or a rolled up blanket and place that on the ground so that when this knee is coming toward the ground, I'm not going to impact anything. I like to cushion and put the weight bearing on my shin so that I don't cause any additional kneecap problems. So staggered foot position, my back foot again in the air, heel pressure on the front leg. This is my left leg this time, chair for balance. And this time I'm going to come straight down. I've got the blanket as kind of a marker. I'm not resting. I'm just pushing into the blanket with my right leg, pushing with my left to lift myself up. Coming down, full lunge position, pushing through the left heel, watching my hip, knee, and ankle alignment, pausing, push through the heel, coming down. So this is the culminating exercise that will allow me to go from a kneeling position and drive my body up off the floor to get the safety.
I hope you enjoyed that video on the staggered lunge exercise. Such an important maneuver to master, not only functionally, but it literally can be life-saving if you find yourself on the floor. Now, if you feel like you need additional help, I've created an over 50 online PT community where you get me as your PT coach. Every month, I host functional group fitness classes, And we cover topics like we reviewed today: how to get up from the floor, how to improve your balance, how to prevent falls. And I also highlight a different body part each month so you can optimize the health of your shoulders and your neck and your hips and knees, feet and ankle. I cover everything. It's also a great way to stay accountable because we have monthly fit challenges. So if you're over 50, like me, and maybe you've been diagnosed with osteoarthritis, like me, take a look at the link below to learn more about the PT community. It's a great way to stay accountable, stay more consistent, and make some friends. We have a lot of fun. So I hope to see you in the next online functional group fitness class. Until then, take care.